It didn't start yet. Okay, it started.
The effect of climate change on animals by Taliyah one day. Okay, background information on climate change. So according to NASA, human activity is the main cause of climate change because we are burning fossil fuels and also deforestation, which is causing a numerous amount of carbon dioxide to go into the atmosphere. And the carbon dioxide is beginning to get trapped and is causing the temperatures to rise, which is also causing the climate to be more dry. So this picture right here is of 1884. As you can see, the world was more cooler and we have some hot spots. But this is a picture of basically the climate in 2018 and everything is just basically hot and dry. Research questions. How would the different type of organisms be affected by climate change? Okay, why does climate change matter? So according to the BBC, 1 in every 4 species will go extinct because of climate change. And also according to NASA, food supply and agriculture will decrease because of climate change because the animals, they're not reacting to the heat well and they end up dying. Also, it's too dry for the crops to like grow. And this graph over here shows that the corn production is going down as the climate gets higher. So yeah. Thesis. Due to climate change, animals are starting to adapt or facing the risk of extinction. So animals that are adapting. So one animal that's going to adapt are cockroaches. So millions of years ago, cockroaches basically survived climate change in Australia. And this was all because they have not a strict diet. They basically are scavengers, so they eat anything that they can find. So that's one benefit from why they're going to adapt. Also, another animal that is going to adapt are the pine beetles. The pine beetles actually love the heat and they will reproduce more in the heat. But according to the USDA, which is the United States Department of Agriculture, the pine beetle is a hazard to pine trees because they feed off of them. So they said if the pine bee population increased, the pine tree population would decrease, which will hurt us in the long run because trees provide us with oxygen. So yeah. Another animal that has possibility of adapting are coral reefs, and it's all because of phenotypic plasticity, and that means that the coral reefs are basically changing their physical behaviors and features so they can adapt to the different conditions. So at Columbia University, they had a experiment where they put coral reefs in hot water, and they saw that they didn't bleach, so that means they're actually adapting to the water. And also they put it back in cold water to see if it will change or if it will die to the hot water, but they actually also adapted. But the sad thing is they don't know like the limits. They don't know how hot the water could be for the coral reefs to die or how cold the water could be for the coral reefs to die. So it's kind of hit or miss. Animals are going extinct. So one animal that's going extinct are the monarch butterflies. From this graph, as you can see, the population is going down significantly. So if you didn't know, the monarch butterflies basically stay up in the north during spring and summer, and they fly south during the fall and winter. But since climate change is kind of affecting the temperatures and it's getting more hotter, the monarch butterflies aren't migrating when they're supposed to. So when they do migrate, the eggs that they lay in the south are actually dying because the climate is too hot in the south. And also when they migrate, all the nectar and all the plants that they basically feed off of has already, came alive, has sprouts, so their food resources are kind of going down too. Another animal that is going extinct are turtles. Sea turtles are already going extinct because of plastic, but they're also going extinct because of climate change. From this graph, as you can see, the hotter the environment is, the more females are being produced, and that is because when turtles lay their eggs, they rely on the sand, the temperature of the sand, to basically see what sex the sea turtle will be. So as the sand is getting hotter, more females are being produced, which is decreasing the reproduction rates, which is one reason why they're going extinct. And another animal that is going extinct are polar bears. Polar bears live in the Arctic, which is getting heavily affected by climate change because the ice caps are melting. And a study at the Biodiversity and Climate Research Center basically said that brown bears evolved from like polar bears, so they're related in a way. So they tried to see if the polar bears can eat berries and other foods that the brown bear eat, which they can, but the sad part is since the polar bears are like the biggest bear and they have a fat-based diet, they're starving themselves if they continue to eat the berries. Their main food source that they eat are sea lions, but those are going extinct because the ice caps are are melting away. Solutions. So some possible solutions are wind turbines, solar panels, restoration, and educate. So wind turbines and solar panels are basically, we're using our natural resources. We're using our natural resources to produce free energy instead of the burning of fossil fuels, which is basically causing a lot of the climate change. Also, restoration. So if we restore the rainforest or Australia, many of the animals that have possibilities of going extinct could actually have a new habitat and reproduce more and have the environment more biodiverse. And also, we can educate people on basically the issues that's going on and what is cause climate change. So yeah, those are some solutions. Some limitations. So it could take trillions of dollars to make the whole world eco-friendly and to stop the burning of fossil fuels and start using wind turbines and solar panels. So it can be really expensive, and also it can be expensive to restore the the rainforest and in Australia, because literally thousands and thousands of acres were gone and they're burned away. So it's going to be really hard to try to restore all of them. And also, even if we educate, it's going to be that one group of people that just does not care and will not try to make a change. And also, wind turbines are known for disturbance. So many neighborhoods that live where the wind turbines are being disturbed by the noise that is caused by the wind turbines. And also, the wind turbines kills like a lot of birds. So a lot of people are triggered by that. In conclusion, everything in the ecosystem relies on each other. If we don't make a difference now, our resources will be limited. The food sources that we rely on, such as chicken, cows, pork, they'll be all gone. Some crops that we rely on, such as corn and potatoes, those will be all gone because the climates are too hot for them to actually grow. So, and these are my sources.